Welcome to this new lesson. In this lesson, we will implement the web page. We will use ChatGPT. Of course, we don't have to. We can just write the code ourselves. But for us to practice more with ChatGPT, I decided that all web pages will be coded using ChatGPT. So first, let's go back to our Visual Studio Code. Here we need to create the public folder. So let me close all of this. Create public folder. Then I need to go to app.js and add a middleware, which is this. So this middleware is telling that public is a static folder that is available for everybody. Now, because we modify this, we need to restart the server. So here we are restarting the server and listening on port 4000. Okay, now let's go and do the prompt. You are an experienced web developer. It's good to tell the assistant what role you want him to do. Then you tell him in general what he is going to do. You need to generate the front end HTML, CSS, vanilla JavaScript for web page that will call a JSON web API to perform semantic search. So now we told it the role, we told it the request, then we start setting up the context. You need to use Bootstrap CSS library. You need to use vanilla JavaScript. I don't want other libraries like jQuery. Include the entire page content inside a div that has the container class. The container should be 80% of the page width and should have little margin at the top and the bottom and round edges. The page background color needs to be light gray while the container background color needs to be gray. You need to create header that includes a title which is centered on the page. Okay, so that was general about the page. Then we'll start talking about the input. The page then includes a form to collect a search term, text input, and a text area to include the target list as one item on each line delimited by new line, and an integer k that is a drop-down. This drop-down should start with value from 1 up to the number of non-empty lines in the target list. The previously selected value of k should be returned when updating the drop-down option, meaning that as we are writing the options, we don't want k to be reset. Below the form, there is a div to display the returned output list of objects from the JSON API. This output list should be scrollable, and the page should automatically scroll to the top of the output list when it is updated. When the submit button is clicked on the form, a JavaScript code shall read the search term text and the list of non-empty lines in the target list and the number k and call the following API. This is the API that we did, and pass the body in the body JSON object with key as search term. For search term, target list, which includes the list of lines from the target list, and k as k. In fact, let me get an example from Postman. So I will copy this. Okay, so this is a sample request. Okay, so hopefully that will make it understand it better, although I did describe it enough, I think, for this. So let's come here. Okay, during the API call, show a spinner and disable the submit button and the two input fields and declare the output div. When the API returns, it provides a JSON object with which is an array of objects, each containing keys of index, text, similarity. These should be printed in a table in a readable format. And let me also bring a sample for this from here. So a sample output is, so this is a sample output, and please include all the code in one file, semantic_search.html. Okay, now I will copy this entire prompt and I will go to ChatGPT and send it. It started generating, as you can see. As I said before, for me, I usually need to do a prompt which is similar to what you saw, which I usually include a lot of details on it. But later, when this work, I need to send a follow-up prompts in order to fix things. So you can have whatever approach you want to do. You can start with small prompts and build the app gradually, or you can start with a big prompt like what I do, but you still will need follow-up prompts. Okay, so that's the code generated for us here. Let me copy it. I'll go to Visual Studio Code. I'll go to the public folder. I will create a file called semantic_search.html, and I will provide this code and save it. Let me come here, let me refresh. Okay, so this is the page. Look a little bit different from mine, but not much different. Here we have 10 elements. Okay, that's a bug because we should only have the number of lines in the target list. Okay, let me from here get this. I will go shopping, and let's say here tomorrow we will shop. Okay, now as you can see, this is showing 10, which is not correct. It should only show 1. Let me press on submit. Now it is making that call, and now it is getting back the similarity and the index. For me, as a startup, this is very good. Let's write something far from here. I will say the kid play at the street. So now I will ask it for the top 2. You can see now the first one is close, the other ones are not very close. Okay, let me fix one thing. Let me see what will happen here. So it is just 10, so I put it just up to 10 items. So I will tell it K should initially be 1, but then it shall reflect the number of non-empty lines in the target list. It shall be updated when changes happen to the target list. Okay. So now it should be regenerating. Okay, as you can see, it will show me just the changes. So once it's finished, I will tell it to reproduce the entire file because I don't want to start with this. Okay, here I see that populate K drop down on page load with an example target list. Update K drop down. No, this is still wrong. K should not be updated by sample data. It should reflect the number of items in the target list, and please always regenerate the entire file, and let's go. Okay, so now it is regenerating the entire file. Okay, so it is still not giving me everything, because here it's saying that this will stay the same. So please regenerate the entire file. So here it is generating the complete thing. Okay, let me copy it. Let me go to Visual Studio Code. Save. Okay, let's come here. Let's refresh. Okay, so K is not initialized. Let me add an item. I will go shopping. So that looks fine. It entered one. I will go. It is raining outside. So let's add another one. It is heavily raining. Okay, this is outside. Okay, let's see. Now it is 2. So let me get both of them. Okay, so as you can see, it is heavily raining. It's raining outside. It's very similar. While I will go shopping is much less. So you can say, I think it is much better than the previous version. What if I add an empty line? Okay, I didn't take it into account. Let me run again now. And yes, it seems that things are fine now. So I will stop it here. Of course, you can make it better, improve it, and test it more. But this is in general how you use ChatGPT in programming, in this case, to generate a web page. That's all about this lesson and about this project, and we can talk later.